Welcome, seekers, to the Circle of Enchantment, a year-long course in my mystical mentorship circle. I am Lady Shaya, your witch coach, guide, and fellow traveler on this journey through the craft of witchcraft. Over the next year, we will explore, learn, and grow together, delving deep into the ancient wisdom and modern practices of the magical path. Whether you are new to the craft or looking to deepen your existing practice, this circle is a place for all who come with an open heart and mind. This week, we embark on our very first step, understanding the rich history and evolution of witchcraft. But before we dive into the past, let's talk about our present and our future together. As we go through each week, I encourage you to engage, not just with the material, but with each other. Share your thoughts, experiences, and questions. This is a safe space to explore and express your journey into witchcraft. If you are coming late to this journey after it has begun, that's okay. Pick up and follow along with the course at your own pace. With being a little bit ADHD myself and the queen of procrastination at times, I understand not being able to adhere to a rigid course schedule. That is why all learning in my mystical mentorship circle is at your own pace and here for you to interact with as you see fit and when you see fit. All I ask is that you do interact. Make this an active journey for yourself, not just a passive one. After all, it's when we are actively pursuing and participating in our spiritual growth that the universe provides us with the most expansive growth opportunities and those little miracles and moments of synchronicity that we all seek and thrive with. Now, let's start with a moment of reflection. Why are you drawn to witchcraft? What do you hope to find or create on this path? Keep these questions in mind as they will guide your journey and help tailor this experience to your personal spiritual path. Remember, this is just the beginning. Each week, we will uncover new knowledge, practices, and insights. I'm excited to see where this path takes us together. As we step onto this path, it is essential to honor the roots from which witchcraft has grown. Our magical practices today are the fruits of a rich, deep history that stretches back to the very beginnings of human spirituality. Long before the written word, ancient people recognized the power in the world around them and within themselves. They saw the spirit in every rock, tree, and stream. They spoke to the moon, revered the sun, and celebrated the cycles of nature. These practices were as diverse as the cultures they sprang from, yet they shared a common thread, deep connection to and reverence for the natural world. Amidst this profound connection with the natural world, our ancestors sought to understand and influence their environment, turning the seasons, elements, and forces of nature into personified deities, spirits, and mythical beings. They saw the divine in the sun's warmth, the moon's phases, and the earth's bounty, and they created gods and goddesses of the harvest, the hunt, and the hearth. These entities represented the essential aspects of life and the universe, embodying the cycle of birth, growth, death, and rebirth that they observed in nature. By venerating these deities and spirits, they sought to ensure the fertility of the land, the stability of their homes and communities, and the well-being of their loved one. Rituals, offerings, and ceremonies were crafted to honor these divine forces, call forth the elements, and celebrate the sacred dance of existence. This rich spiritual tradition provided not just a means of survival, but a way to flourish and connect more deeply with the world around them. This ancient spirituality laid the groundwork for what we now call witchcraft. It was a shamanistic practice, deeply intertwined with the community and land. Shamans, wise women, and healers were the keepers of this sacred knowledge. They were the mediators between the physical and the spiritual realms, using their skills for healing, guidance, and understanding the mysteries of life. In this primordial communion with the mysteries of life, the shamans, wise women, and healers began to forge the first communal rituals and spiritual rites, effectively planting the seeds for the world's earliest religions. These spiritual leaders became the first priests and priestesses, guiding their communities in practices that united them in common cause, energy, and magic. The creation of these communal rites was more than just an expression of belief. It was a vital act of bonding, ensuring the cohesion and survival of the community. They gathered not only to honor the divine in their midst, but to collectively harness the ancient magic of the earth and the seasons. Together, they sought to influence the world around them, calling upon shared deities and spirits for prosperity, protection, and wisdom. This early religious practice was born from a need to bond with one another and the universe, to celebrate and toil together, ensuring the well-being of all members through shared rituals and beliefs. As societies evolved, so did the practice of witchcraft. It absorbed influences from the cultures and religions that it encountered. However, the core essence remained the same. A practice deeply rooted in nature, magic, and the unseen world. Understanding these roots helps us appreciate the depth and breadth of witchcraft. It isn't merely a set of spells or rituals. It is a living, evolving path with a history as old as humanity itself. Moving forward in time, we enter into the era of Christianity's rise, a period that dramatically altered the spiritual landscape and deeply impacted the practice of ancient traditions. Initially, one among many spiritual paths in a diverse world of polytheistic and animistic beliefs, Christianity's fate took a dramatic turn with Emperor Constantine's conversion. This pivotal moment, coupled with the subsequent Edict of Milan in 313 AD, signaled Christianity's transition from a persecuted sect to the dominant religion of the Roman Empire. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD further solidified this ascendancy by unifying and defining Christian doctrine, setting the stage for a more structured and increasingly powerful church. As it spread, Christianity encountered a myriad of local and indigenous practices, often rooted in a deep understanding of nature and reverence for multiple deities and spirits. The response of the burgeoning Christian authority was typically one of suppression and conversion, labeling ancient practices as heretical or idolatrous. This was not merely a theological stance, but a political strategy, as unifying the empire under one religious doctrine was seen as a path to greater control and stability. This era marked the beginning of significant persecution for those who adhered to the old ways. As Christianity became more entrenched, it began to absorb and adapt many pagan traditions into its own rituals and calendar, a strategy to ease the transition for converts. Seasonal celebrations, symbols, and even saints in the Christian pantheon can often be traced back to earlier pagan roots. This blending was a complex process, sometimes peaceful, but often fraught with tension and resistance. As Christianity's influence grew within the remnants of the Roman Empire, the church's mission to spread the faith became intertwined with the empire's political and cultural ambitions. The spread of the empire provided a framework for the dissemination of Christianity, with missionaries venturing far beyond the capital's borders, carrying the Christian doctrine to different lands. These missionaries, often backed by the authority of the church and the state, sought to convert pagan communities and integrate them into the Christian fold. The process of Christianization was vast and varied, reflecting the diversity of the religions that it touched. In some ways, conversion was a relatively peaceful process, with missionaries using translation, education, and adaptation of local customs to bring the message of Christianity to a new audience. However, in other regions, the spread of the faith was marked by conflict and coercion, with the destruction of pagan temples, the suppression of native religions, and the imposition of Christian practices and beliefs. As the Roman Empire's political power waned, the church's spiritual authority filled that vacuum, becoming the dominant force in shaping the cultural and religious landscape of Europe. The church's efforts to standardize Christian doctrine and practice led to an increasing control over religious expression and a growing intolerance for pagan beliefs and practices. This was not a mere theological concern, but a matter of consolidating power and unifying the populace under a single religious banner. The church's growing influence also led to the official condemnation of pagan practices. Councils and synods were convened to denounce heresies and pagan rites, enacting canons and laws that prescribed severe penalties for those who strayed from the Christian path. This legal and doctrinal framework set the stage for widespread persecution, as any deviation from Orthodox Christianity was seen as a threat to the spiritual and social order. The blending of Christian and pagan traditions, while initially a pragmatic approach to conversion, became increasingly contentious as the church sought to purify its practices and doctrine. The synchronization that characterized early Christianization efforts began to give way to a more rigid orthodoxy, with church authorities denouncing pagan influences and seeking to eradicate any remnants of the old religions. This shift was not only theological, but also political, as the church aligned itself with emerging European states, using its spiritual authority to bolster the temporal power of kings and rulers. In this context, the stage was set for the Inquisition and the Burning Times. The church's drive to assert its authority, standardize religious practice, and eliminate dissent laid the groundwork for a systemic and brutal campaign against heresy, witchcraft, and any form of religious or cultural nonconformity. What began as a mission to spread the Christian faith had transformed into an effort to control and suppress, with dire consequences for those who clung to the old ways or who dared to challenge the prevailing religious orthodoxy. This period of transition from a world of diverse spiritual practices to one dominated by a single religious authority is a critical chapter in the history of witchcraft and spirituality. It reflects the complex interplay between faith, power, and cultural change, and sets the stage for centuries of struggle, adaptation, and resilience that would define the craft and its practitioners. The Inquisition, starting in the 12th century, represents one of the darkest times for the old religions and practices. Initially aimed at rooting out heresies within the church, it soon expanded its purview to include all forms of dissent and non-Christian belief. This period was marked by trials, torture, and executions, aiming to cleanse the populace of its heretical views. The infamous witch hunts and burning times, reaching their peak from the 15th to the 17th centuries, were an extension of this effort to eradicate the old ways, fueled by fear, superstition, and a powerful church intent on maintaining its authority. Thousands of men and women, many of whom were simply herbalists, healers, or even nonconformists, were accused of witchcraft and met brutal fates. This grim period forced many practitioners underground, where they continued their traditions in secrecy, passing down their knowledge and rites through hidden symbols, oral traditions, or, in some cases, coded writings. The resilience of these practitioners ensured that the ancient wisdom was not lost, but rather transformed, waiting for a time when the world would be ready to reawaken to the mystical and magical. As we reflect on this history, it is crucial to recognize the enduring strength and adaptability of the old traditions. Despite centuries of persecution and suppression, the essence of the ancient past has survived, evolving and finding new expressions in modern witchcraft. This story of survival and transformation is a testament to the enduring power of the craft and the unbreakable connection between humanity and the magic of the natural world. As we continue our journey through the annals of witchcraft, we traverse from the ancient roots into a world that slowly began to reawaken to the mystical and magical. The evolution of witchcraft is not just a tale of survival, it's a story of revival, transformation, deeply intertwined with the broader history of human culture and consciousness. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the Western world saw an intellectual and cultural revolution. The Enlightenment and subsequent Romantic period brought a profound change in how people viewed the world, themselves, and the unseen. Science and rationality rose to prominence, but alongside this, a renewed interest in the mystical, the esoteric, and the occult began to surface. This was a time of contrast where scientific discovery walked hand in hand with a fascination for the unknown. One pivotal moment was the discovery of the tombs in Egypt, most famously King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. This event captivated the global imagination and sparked an intense interest in ancient civilizations and their mystical practices. Egypt, with its rich legacy of magic, gods, and the afterlife, became a wellspring of inspiration for those drawn to the esoteric. This Egyptomania influenced various aspects of culture, including art, literature, and even the burgeoning field of esotericism. Seances, spiritualism, and an interest in the afterlife became fashionable as people sought to reconcile the new scientific worldview with a deep, intrinsic need for the spiritual and the magical. Into this complex, shifting world of the earliest 20th century, figures like Aleister Crowley and Gerald Gardner began their work. Crowley, often known as the wickedest man in the world, was a prolific writer, poet, and an influential occultist. He founded the religious philosophy of Thelema and was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, along with other esoteric and fraternal organizations. Crowley's works, such as the Book of the Law, deeply influenced Western esotericism and laid the foundations for many modern magical practices and beliefs. Gerald Gardner, often hailed as the father of modern witchcraft, came into the scene slightly later. After retiring from a life filled with travel and fascination with the cultures of the Malay Peninsula, Gardner claimed to have been initiated into a new forest coven, and thus Wicca was born. His books Witchcraft Today and The Meaning of Witchcraft were seminal, bringing witchcraft back into public awareness as a nature-based, deeply spiritual practice. Gardner's Wicca was revolutionary, turning away from the shadows of persecution and into a celebration of life, nature, and the divine feminine. Both Crowley and Gardner, along with many others, were instrumental in what many call the 20th century occult revival. They challenged the status quo and opened the doors to a world where witchcraft and magic could be explored, practiced, and celebrated openly. Their legacies, though complex and often controversial, have profoundly shaped modern practices and the craft as we know it today. As we stand here looking back through the corridors of time, we can see how the light of witchcraft, once dimmed, grew bright once more. Each era, each significant figure, each cultural shift added layers to the rich tapestry of the craft. It's a reminder that witchcraft in all its forms is a living, evolving path influenced by the ebb and flow of human history. And as we move forward, let us carry with us not just the knowledge of the past, but the inspiration to shape the future of the craft. For we are the witches of today, building on the legacy of those who came before and paving the way for those yet to come. Let us come now to the present day and continue our exploration of witchcraft and its many facets. It's important to understand the rich diversity within the craft. Witchcraft is not a monolith, but a mosaic composed of various traditions, practices, and beliefs. This diversity is a testament to the craft's adaptability and to the personal nature of the magical journey. One of the most well-known and influential modern forms of witchcraft is Wicca. Founded by Gerald Gardner in the mid-20th century, Wicca is a distinct, organized religion with its own set of beliefs, practices, and structure. It's characterized by its reverence for the goddess and god, the celebration of the Wheel of the Year, and its adherence to the Wiccan Rede, which includes that famous line, "And it harm none, do what you will." Wiccans typically work within covens, though solitary practice is also common. And they initiate members into their tradition through a series of degrees. And a personal reflection of my own journey into the craft, I was initiated and trained through the degrees in a Gardnerian-based coven tradition in Texas in the 1980s. During that time, as a teenager, I, along with many in my coven, were very much in the broom closet. It was a period marked by burgeoning interest in New Age thought processes, as well as a considerable pushback from conservative groups who lamented the perceived decline in religious observance, such as the removal of prayer in schools. These were times of spiritual exploration as well as societal tension, a backdrop that deeply influenced my formative years in witchcraft. Over the course of 4 years, I underwent rigorous training within my coven, delving deep into the rituals, ethics, and practices of our tradition. This journey was one of profound personal growth and learning, culminating in my elevation to the degree of High Priestess, achieving the status bestowed upon me the right within the religious tradition of Wicca to start a coven and tradition of my own. It was a milestone that marked the beginning of a new chapter in my spiritual journey, allowing me to embrace a leadership role and share the wisdom and insights I had gained with others. My experience reflects the structured yet deeply personal nature of Wiccan practice, embodying both its adherence to tradition and its capacity for individual expression. Wicca, as a distinct path within the broader spectrum of witchcraft, borrows from many ancient traditions and practices, synthesizing them into a unique set of beliefs, rites, and structures. Its framework is a tapestry woven from the myriad threads of the world's magical and religious traditions, reflecting a reverence for the natural world, the cycles of life, and the dual aspects of divinity. While not all witches identify as Wiccan, the influence of Wicca is undeniable in the modern witchcraft movement. Many contemporary witches, regardless of their specific path or tradition, incorporate elements that have roots in Wiccan practice, be it the celebration of Sabbats, the casting of circles, or the ethical guidelines like the Wiccan Rede. This is a testament to Wicca's role in shaping modern perceptions of witchcraft and offering a structured yet adaptable framework that has inspired a diverse array of spiritual paths. As such, while Wicca is but one expression of the craft, its echoes can be found in many corners of the witchling world, attesting to its enduring influence and the shared heritage of a magical practice. While Wicca has had a significant impact on how witchcraft is perceived and practiced in the modern world, it's crucial to note that it represents just one path among many. Witchcraft, in its broader sense, is not confined to any single religious framework. It is a practice, an art, and for some, a way of life that can intersect with various spiritual beliefs or stand entirely on its own. Many witches draw upon the folklore, myths, and practices of their ancestors or the land that they live on. This can lead to a deeply personal and eclectic approach to the craft, where the practitioner might blend family traditions with learned practices, creating something uniquely their own. Others might align their witchcraft with a specific religious path or set of deities. For instance, some might practice within the context of Hellenism, working with Greek gods and myths, while others might align with the Egyptian pantheon, drawing from ancient Kemetic practices. Yet, these witchcraft practices are distinct from the religions themselves, serving as a personal magical expression of the practitioner's spirituality. Then there are the various cultural traditions that might be considered under the broad umbrella of witchcraft or magical practice, each with its unique history, beliefs, and practices. These include but are not limited to traditions like Santeria, voodoo, and various forms of folk magic found worldwide. As we navigate the myriad paths within witchcraft, it's essential to approach the respect, openness, and willingness to learn. Remember, no one tradition holds all the answers, and each path offers valuable insights and experiences. It is also critical to understand that while these paths may share commonalities, they each have their own distinct lineage, ethics, and practices that should be honored and understood in their context. In embracing the diversity of witchcraft, we also embrace the personal nature of the craft. Your path is your own to forge. While you might draw inspiration from Wicca, eclectic witchcraft, or any other tradition, ultimately, how you practice is a deeply personal choice guided by your intuition, experiences, and the knowledge that you gather along the way. Continuing our exploration into the realm of witchcraft, it becomes increasingly important to address and dispel the misconceptions that have long shrouded the craft in mystery and misunderstanding. These misconceptions not only obscure the truth, but also hinder the personal and spiritual growth of aspiring practitioners and the public's perception of our community. One pervasive myth is the association of witchcraft with evil or malevolent forces. This misconception is a remnant of historical fears, religious propaganda, and sensationalist portrayals in media and literature. In truth, witchcraft is as varied as its practitioners, encompassing a wide spectrum of beliefs and ethical stances. While some paths may explore darker themes or work with baneful magic, they do so with a deep understanding of responsibility and consequences. The vast majority of witchcraft practices focusing on healing, personal growth, and connection with the natural world. Another common stereotype is the portrayal of witches as outcasts or eccentric individuals living on the fringes of society. This image fails to recognize that the modern witch's reality, individuals from all walks of life who integrate their practices with daily life. Today's witches might be professionals in various fields, parents, students, community leaders practicing their craft while navigating the complexities of modern life. Let's also address the notion that all witches adhere to a strict hierarchy or structure or some dogmatic belief system. While certain traditions like Wicca have more formalized practices and degrees of initiation, witchcraft as a whole is incredibly diverse. Practitioners might follow a structured path, create their eclectic blend of practices, or engage in a more free-form intuitive magic. This diversity allows individuals to find a path that resonates with their personal beliefs, experiences, and aspirations. In the ever-evolving journey of spiritual growth, it is not uncommon for one's path to shift and change as new knowledge is gained and deeper understandings are forged. Over time, the path that once seemed a perfect fit might evolve into something new, reflecting the ongoing development of personal beliefs and spiritual insights. My own journey is a testament to this natural progression. From the structured and communal rites of Wicca, I have transformed into a more eclectic and individualized practice of witchcraft. This evolution was not a rejection of past beliefs, but rather a growth beyond them, incorporating a broader spectrum of spiritual understandings and practices. This shift led me to embrace omnitheism, a recognition and honoring of all the world's religions, seeing the divine spark within each, and understanding that each system of belief holds its own truth and beauty. My practice now includes a diverse array of rituals, symbols, and deities drawn from a wide range of cultures and spiritual traditions. This eclectic approach allows me to weave a personal tapestry of belief and practice that is continually enriched by my experiences and discoveries. Such changes in one's spiritual path highlight the dynamic nature of witchcraft and personal belief. They remind us that our journey is not static, but it is a dance of evolution and transformation. As we learn, grow, and change, so too might our practices and our understandings. This fluidity is a strength, allowing each practitioner to adapt and evolve their craft to reflect their unique spiritual journey and the ever-unfolding mystery of the divine. Now, turning our gaze to the broader picture, let's consider how witchcraft fits into the tapestry of world religions and spiritual practices. It is crucial to understand that witchcraft itself is not a religion, but a practice that can exist within or outside religious frameworks. Some witches incorporate elements of their ancestral or chosen religion into their craft, while others pursue witchcraft as purely secular practice. This versatility allows for a rich interplay between witchcraft and various spiritual paths, creating a vibrant, ever-evolving practice that honors individual beliefs and cultural diversity. As we dispel these misconceptions, we also open the door to a more nuanced understanding of modern witchcraft. Contemporary witches are as likely to gather in virtual spaces as they are in wooded groves, sharing knowledge, experience, and support across the globe. They might blend ancient rituals with modern technology, adapting old practices to new contexts, or innovating entirely new approaches to magic. The modern witchcraft movement is also characterized by a strong emphasis on personal sovereignty, social justice, and ecological awareness. Witches today often engage in activism, community building, and efforts to preserve and honor the natural world. This reflects a broader understanding of magic, not just as a tool for personal empowerment, but as a means to effect positive change in the world. As practitioners of witchcraft, we have the opportunity to build on the rich legacy of the past while forging new paths into the future. We can honor the wisdom of ancient traditions while embracing the complexities of the modern world. Our practice is a journey of constant learning, adaptation, and growth, guided by our inner wisdom and the shared knowledge of our community. So, as we move forward, let's do so with an open heart and mind. Let's embrace the diversity and complexity of witchcraft, seeking understanding, connection, and truth. May our journey be illuminated by the light of knowledge. May we continue to dispel the shadows of misconception through our words, actions, and intentions. In closing this segment, I invite you to reflect on your path and the paths of those around you. Consider the diversity of practices and beliefs that you encounter, and think about how you can contribute to a deeper, more nuanced understanding of witchcraft in your community and beyond. Let's take a moment now to reflect on the role of witchcraft in our modern world and consider how we as individuals and as a community can integrate these ancient practices into our contemporary lives. In today's fast-paced and often disconnected world, witchcraft offers a unique path back to understanding balance and harmony. It encourages us to reconnect with the natural world, to recognize the sacred in the mundane, and to harvest our inner power for positive change. Witchcraft is not an escape from reality, but a deeper engagement with it, providing tools and insights for personal growth and transformation. The role of witchcraft today is as varied as its practitioners. For some, it's a spiritual path providing a framework for understanding the divine and our place within it. For others, it's a practical skill set, a means to effect change in their lives and in their environment. And for many, it's a combination of both, interwoven with other spiritual or secular views. As modern witches, we have the opportunity to shape the role of witchcraft in society. We can dispel misconceptions through our words or actions, demonstrating the ethical and empowering and compassionate nature of our practices. We can build communities that are inclusive, supportive, and respectful of diversity, and we can work towards a better world using our craft to heal, protect, and inspire. As you move forward from this week, consider how you might integrate the principles and practices of witchcraft into your daily life. Perhaps it's through a morning ritual to greet the day, a quiet moment of meditation, or a commitment to learning more about the natural world. Maybe it's in the way that you approach challenges, armed with a deeper understanding of your own power and the interconnectedness of all things. Or perhaps it's in the way you engage with others, offering kindness, support, and wisdom. Remember, the journey of witchcraft is deeply personal and ever evolving. There is no right way to practice, only what is right for you. Be open to exploration and change, and don't be afraid to forge your own path. Finally, as we look ahead to the journey before us, let us do so with a sense of wonder, curiosity, and hope. The path of witchcraft is a magical one, filled with endless possibilities and discoveries. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned practitioner, there is always more to learn, more to explore, and more to become. As we bring this week's journey to a close, we stand at the threshold of an exciting and transformative year ahead. This introduction to witchcraft is just the beginning of a comprehensive exploration into the myriad aspects of the craft. Whether you're a novice, just starting to feel the call of the witch's way, or an experienced practitioner looking to deepen and broaden your practice, this year-long journey is designed to guide, inspire, and empower you. In the coming weeks, we will delve into a wide array of topics fundamental to understanding and mastering the craft. From the rich history and traditions of witchcraft to the practical skills of spell work and divination, each week will offer new insights and opportunities to expand your knowledge and hone your practice. The teachings will cover everything that you need to develop and refine your own personal tradition, adapting the wisdom of the craft to suit your unique spiritual path. These future teachings will be released weekly, providing a consistent and rich source of learning and inspiration. Each module is crafted to be an engaging and informative, allowing you to process at your own pace and revisit the material as needed. As you grow and evolve on your path, these lessons will be here to guide you and support you, offering wisdom, encouragement, and a deep dive into diverse practices and perspectives of witchcraft. To gain access to this treasure trove of knowledge and join a community of like-minded seekers, if you're not already a part of it, I invite you to join the circle. Membership is only $25 a month, and it's a commitment to your growth and exploration in the craft. As a member, not only will you have access to this year-long course in witchcraft, but you will also be able to explore other units on subjects like Reiki, astrology, tarot, oracle cards, crystals, spells, shadow work, narcissism, empathy, and so much more. All this and more awaits you at ladyshia.com. That's LADYSHIYA.com. Join us and embark on a journey of discovery, mastery, and personal transformation. Together, we will explore the depths of witchcraft, uncovering the secrets and skills that have been passed down through the ages. Your path is yours to shape, and we are here to illuminate the way. Welcome to the Circle of Enchantment. Your journey begins now. Merry we meet, merry we part, and merrily we shall meet again. And as many of us in the craft say, blessed be my brothers and sisters, living and walking this human experience with me.